Taurus, hi, great to see you. Come on in just in time for your Taurus March 2020 reading. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James. For those who haven't seen me before, look, welcome back to all of my subscribers. I really love seeing you each month, and thank you very much for your interest and loyalty. Thank you also for those of you who have obtained personal readings from me. It's been great to have the one-on-one, face-to-face time with you over Skype and FaceTime. Really enjoyed getting to know you, and and thank you very much for telling your friends as well, some of whom have already booked. If you want to have a personal reading, just check out the information in the description box, and we can go from there. But let us get something underway now for you in March. I'm going to use 5 tarot cards. I might use this pen of mine to point out some of the salient features of this, because the imagery, for me, really evokes the messages that come through, and so I will point out anything that's interesting for you at the time. I'm also going to use 3 playing cards. Now, these playing cards I use in my psychic readings. They're very incisive. Of course, this is a general reading, but they should have something to throw light on in this reading with you now. And let me know in the comments as to whether or not you like the playing cards at the end of the tarot section or not. But let's get things underway, shall we? I have got a good feeling for you. Let's have a look. There we have the 6 of coins. And there we have the 6 of cups. Well. I think you are going to enjoy yourself this month in all sorts of ways. Let's see what is coming from in here. Let's have a look at that. Temperance. The Lady Temperance. Good Lady Temperance. She has, usually very good things to say, and I think she'll have some good things to say to you, but it remains to be seen. There is the Judgment card. Now that's interesting. I didn't expect to see Judgment with you this month, but we shall see what it has in store for you in just a moment. Let's have this, which is the Page of Wands. Now I will, as I say, you come down here, because I'll get you to come around and have a look with me closely at these cards. Now let's have a look at 3 playing cards as well and see what there may be here for you. There's 2. The Ace of Diamonds. What's this? The 3 of Hearts. And something there, shall we? The 7 of Diamonds. Okay, let's get the show underway. All right, Taurus, here we go. Very interesting. I think let us go to this card in the middle first. This card of Temperance, the daughter of the reconcilers, the bringer forth of light. Now, what can I say about her? Well, let's have a look at the imagery, shall we? An angel pours liquid from one vessel into another. The golden urn is solar, embodied by a lion, and the silver vessel is lunar, embodied by a crescent. Now, together they symbolize for me the harmonious mix of masculine and feminine. Now, the mysteriously androgynous features of the angel itself, they resemble those of John the Baptist in the painting by Leonardo da Vinci that I'm familiar with. You may be familiar with it as well. Now, on the forehead is a solar disc. Now, the angel's swan wing denote the alchemical ablution, that is the mixing of things together, the purification of things. In fact, what I'd say for you is that by examining the interior of yourself, there you will find the precious jewel. On the left is a wilted flower, and on the right is a scene of a baptism and the dove of the Holy Spirit. This is, of course, medieval deck and uses that Christian imagery. The dove of the Holy Spirit here coming down to it. Actually, this baptism scene is taken from a fresco by an artist in the church of Santa Croce in Verona in Italy, I'm pretty sure. It just reminds me of that. Having looked at the picture, what is it that we can take from it? Well, I'll say this. I think what you are going to do is have a combination of forces. The realization of something is going to come about, and you're going to have action which is based on an accurate assessment of something. I think you're going to manage your finances pretty well during this period. You're going to have a close rein on finances. And I think that you may well have success in something after what have previously seemed to you to be quite convoluted and elaborate dealings and toing and froing and so forth. But finally, I think there's going to be a resolution of that, and there's going to be something which you're going to be happy with, I'm pleased to say. Now, this can also, the energy that I'm getting from here is that you may also have what I call a get out of jail free card handed to you. You may well find that you escape from something, or that you get out of having to do something or to face the consequence of something that otherwise you were concerned about. I think what's happening is that you really are learning to bring about balance and moderation in your life. And I think what the energy here is saying to you is to look just at the moment, be patient and let things evolve at their natural pace. Do some self-evaluation to re-examine your life's priorities and work in harmony from a place of stability and strength that is within you. And when you have time alone, just think to yourself, I am uplifted in your heart. My every instinct has become the echo of your heartbeat. My life dances to the rhythm of your pulse. Very interesting, very interesting. Now, let's get down to business and see what's here in this card, the Six of Coins. Well, this card doesn't really get any better than it does for you, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. Let's just look at the imagery. Here is a sentinel holding a stout staff, and look at the coins that are around it. What do we have in here? We have a miser hoarding his riches and gold in a case. Here we have the Chariot of Saturn. This is a fool who has lost his money and is looking rather despondent. And correspondingly over here, a fool who has obtained some money and is leaping about to great joy. This is a rose that's in the shape of a mandala. A mandala is a sort of a symmetrical figure that's used in Tibetan Buddhism to concentrate your ability to meditate and connect with the divinity. And up here we have a rich man doling out money to a poor man by way of a scale, as people will want to do, because you would weigh gold or weigh silver in those days. So what do we have? Why do I say it's good? I say it's good because I have the moon ruling the second decan of Taurus, the 1st to the 10th of May. Now, that's really good because, as you probably know, the moon is actually, in ordinary astrology, exalted in Taurus, which is a good sign. But remember that the moon's transient nature can mean that successes can be short-lived. I call this card the Lord of Material Success. The moon likes nurturing and comfort, and Taurus, as you well know, likes the material things in life: good eating, good drinking, possessions, a sense of well-being. And so these two things, Taurus and the moon, are well suited together in this card for me to bring about material success. So I think it is particularly good. The moon in Taurus, external manifestation of the inner. Success and transformation are some of the things I think that you can be looking forward to. I'd also say that, just to bring it out so you can see it in the context of the other cards that are here, I'd say that there really are here the seeds for material success and financial prosperity. Now, this isn't wealth, right? It's not like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or anything like that, but you will look back on this time, and maybe in 12 months, and go, do you know what? That was right. He actually said that this period in March was when these seeds for material success were being sown. Do you know what? There could also be the opportunity to be involved in a profitable adventure. And this is a reminder for you to remember the successes of your life and to build on those. So very often we might look upwards at something and say, oh, it's all uphill for me to go and get the object of my desire, and it's going to be hard work climbing up. But you forget, don't you, that you already stand on top of a mountain, the mountain of your achievements, your character and your experience. And so rather than having to go up, you can sometimes go across. And in fact, if you're lucky, it's a downward slide to go and get the goal that you're searching for. So I think here there's going to be a desire for success, clearly for you this month. And I think that the advice of the Spirit is that you should be willing to take risk, be committed, and trust your intuition, because it's the Spirit working in you through intuition. Be careful of careless spending, and understand always that my self-acceptance and self-confidence are the keys to real success. Well, let's have a look at the card that was just immediately below it, shall we? And see what it has to say for us. I can see how these are all working together, and I'm sure you can appreciate it as well. Now, here we have the card of Judgment. Now, what can we say about the image? Well, there is what looks like a veritable city of tombs, which are awakened by a trumpet blast of an angel. A woman and two men, one very old, emerge from three of the tombs, while hands groping from the other tombs are there. Now, the hair of the angel kind of spirals and whirls, doesn't it? And its billowing clothes, together with the clouds, are kind of reminiscent of the Swan constellation in the Milky Way galaxy, I think. But here we are. What's the astrology of it? Well, I'd say that it's really the universe. If I was to put a planet with it, I'd put it with Pluto. This is the spirit of the primal fire. I think that there is for you during this time a decision which has a major impact of your life, such as a lifestyle or career, and these are very positive that are coming up. Now, you may not even realize at the time that you've made such, you may realize that this is a momentous decision, or you may take a decision which leads on down a particular path. And again, you'll look back at this time and you'll say, aha, I see, that was the moment when this happened. And I think that there could well be some life-changing experiences for you here. I know that when this card appears, and let me just pull it out again. When this card appears in this position, next to Temperance here, and with this Six of Cups, which is beautiful, which I'll get to in just one second. These life-changing experiences can be such as almost like religious experiences. I do know I had a client who drew it and then had a near-death experience, and it changed her life dramatically, and she's gone on, of course, to live strongly thereafter. I think it's also saying to you that this may well be time for you to move on from something after having seen the bigger picture. And it's asking you, I think, to take time out in order to see the bigger picture on something. This is a period for you of growth and shedding of things and people which are no longer of service to you. Now, I don't mean shedding of people in a bad way. It just is a fact of life that sometimes people come into our life for a purpose and then they leave our life for a purpose, and the universe turns around and around. So it's not as if you have to dismiss people, but it is important to understand that sometimes for your growth, for you to get what you want, well, as your mother always said, you are judged by the company that you keep. And what that means is that sometimes there are people that are in your life for a reason, and there's also a reason why some people should not be in your life. Yeah. Burn me, O flame. You are the breath of my beloved, the body of her embraces, the passion of his seeding. Yeah, quite a transformative time for you, I think. Is there anything else I can get from the art that's there? I'd say this, that I value, let me pull this out. I value the combination of my qualities and characteristics. I honor the unlimited well of creativity within me to express in family and career settings. I observe people and situations objectively and fairly. Okay, let's have a look to see what's over here. Well, what is over here is the Lord of Pleasure. Yep, pleasure. Now, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the imagery on here. Well, am I just looking at this now? This looks to me to be the ways that one might spend one's old age. And if you just follow me, you'll get it. Here on this dark cup here, in front of it looks like some old widow saying the rosary with her rosary beads. In this cup here, there is depicted with inside there people engaged in hedonism, drinking, and sex and sexuality. Well, sign me up for that in my old age, thank you. And dropping from there is a liquid, like wine, which is being slurped up by a jester or a fool in a red suit. Over here is this green cup in the shape of a bird, and this looks like the seal of Solomon on there, attended by a wizard, and there is the tools of his occult arts. Down here, this thing here is a foot. Now that would be the foot from one of the ancient wonders of the old world called the Colossus of Rhodes. And sitting on top of the foot is a female figure, which in Italian is known as a befana. And a befana is a good witch. She's a good witch. And in the top of the cup here are the toys and things that she brings to children. Down here, there is the only cup with water in it by the looks of it. So this must be something other than water that's flowing down there, wine probably. This is the only cup with water in it, on top of which is a lotus. Down here there is an ascete, I suppose you'd say, a spiritual person meditating and holding a flower in her right hand with another flower in the left hand there with this golden cup. And this cup here which is the color of burnt orange, almost like a clay jug that's been fired in an oven. And here I'd say it is the fire of divine love, with a wreath, an olive wreath hanging around it. And this is a monk from Mount Athos in Greece. Now, up there in Mount Athos, there are about 20 or 30 monasteries. It's extraordinary. They're just everywhere, and all these guys hanging around. They're just having a very contemplative life. So they're ways that one might spend one's time when old. Yeah, but as I say, put me down for that one, thanks. Yeah, I don't think I could be one of these guys here. I think I probably was disqualified from living the saintly life years ago. Nevertheless, but here we are, the Six of Cups. Well, for me, the Lord of Pleasure, it's the Sun ruling the second decan of Scorpio, that 3rd to the 12th of November. Now, here I also, you see, with the number 6, have a mystical association with the Sun as well. 6, actually, in mystical terms for me, has an association with what might be called symbolically Krishna consciousness or Christ consciousness, and it has the Sun associated with it. So I have the Sun with the number 6, and I have the Sun in the second decan of Scorpio. So we have a double dose of the Sun, and the double Sun reveals what Scorpio wants to hide. Now, the Sun in Scorpio generally would talk to me about lust and enjoyment, pleasure in sexual relationships, a very rich exchange of sexual and emotional energy is what I see here. But the pleasure is a kind of pleasure which is completely harmonized. The zodiacal sign governing this card being Scorpio. Well, pleasure is just rooted so well in Scorpio. It's its most convenient soil. This is a preeminently fertile card, and for me, I've got to say, is one of the best in the deck. Now, the emphasis on the card is sexuality, but not the uncontrolled sexuality that you might get a bit further down in the suit of cups, in particular in the number 7. But pleasure here, I think, can be experienced after what has been some degree of hardship. I think I'm looking at this cup here, which is fired by the divine love. That's the oven of it. So I think that you will be undergoing a period of healing, and I feel with this cup here, I feel that you will also be undergoing some sort of a transformation. The emphasis is on a relationship, or the desire to have a relationship, and one that will improve both individuals. That is, where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And let's have a look at this character, the Page of Wands. Now, the Page of Wands, it's depicted as a man of colour here, and I think it's probably a man of colour who was previously a slave, and because there's an ankle bracelet still around him here. He's holding a staff which is being pushed down into the ground. From the cap at the head, there is a flower growing. There is also, if you look, he's got the solar colours really as clothing here, and there is a lion's skin that is draped over him. His socks and the tail of the lion curl into this black colour here. Now, I think what this means for you is that you really have a sort of a divine protection around you during this month. And why do I say that? Because I'm reminded of the Greek myths of Heracles, who we come to know through the Romans as Hercules, Hercules had as you may recall, the 12 labors of Hercules to undertake. And one of those labors, the first one, was to go and kill the Nemean lion that was impervious to arrows and swords and spears and what have you. The skin was impervious, so Hercules ended up strangling the thing to death. What happened then was that Hercules wore that skin around him and wore it as a protection. And I think that you can find that you've got that protection around you during this period as well. You really do have that there. There is in the background here like a sort of a jungle that's growing, and these flames, which of course wands, are about to engulf it, but all is well with this character. And there's his wand that's there. Now he's court cards, of course, can be both male and female. He's depicted as a male, yet I get the feeling of a female around here. The princess of the shining flame, the rose of the palace of fire is what I'm getting up for her. What I'm really getting is that there's a person who's actually omnivorous in passion of whatever kind, entirely reckless in the means of obtaining gratification, and basically somebody who is insatiable. Now, it could be a Leo, it could be a Virgo, it could be a Cancer, someone that's around you during this period. A young woman who is energetic. Now, but what you will be is, because her or his qualities mean that I think that you will be energetic, individualistic, brilliant and daring, and very expressive in love and sex and in anger, and very enthusiastic about things. I also get the feeling of Asia around here, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone with an Asian background is close to you or at this time. Because she really rules geography, I think, and I'm getting that feeling of Asia, which could extend from the Far East through Central Asia, or even into the Middle East, Lebanon, and as far across as Turkey. But I think that what's going to happen is that you will be confident and daring and exciting, quite nonconformist, interestingly enough for you, because you're often quite, not staid, but you're stable in how you go about things, freedom-loving, and I think you're going to be quite ambitious during this period as well. People are going to love your character and energy, and you will find that you are very attractive to other people during the period. Now, what I also get from this card is a sort of a feeling of someone who could be, I'm not saying this is you, but if it is, be pre-warned and just be able to put it into its right context. I make no moral judgments. Someone who's vengeful, temperamental, unruly, someone who could sometimes even be cruel. I think what this card can also mean for you is that I think that you will be conquering old fears and patterns of thought. You've brought them to the surface and conquered them, although you've had to learn a few lessons the hard way along the way, haven't you? Yeah. Let's have a look at these cards, shall we, and see what they have to say for us. Let's focus in on this Ace of Diamonds. Okay, now, an Ace of Diamonds, really, I think that, aces are about starting and finishing. Diamonds are usually about power and money or material things, success, rewards, skills. Aces are about starting and finishing. There could be a message received about a union in love or business, and that message, I think, is one that's probably going to be good. I think there's going to be a desire for money with you during this period, or some sort of an enterprise in making money. I've got to tell you that for anyone to whom this might be of some interest, this can sometimes represent a marriage proposal or a ring, jewelry. Yeah. In business, there can be new ventures or partnerships forming which will be financially beneficial. A change or a message about money, which is good news. Yeah, that's good. Actually, you've got all red cards in these playing cards, so that's good. But let's see what's here. Now, threes, let me go there. Threes are about extensions, developments, growth, or sometimes a third party being involved. It can sometimes mean a loss of direction or changing mind. Depending on, see, when you do a personal reading with me, this might, depending on whatever else is around it, I know that in the past it has acted as a sort of a caution card for me, where it can represent indecision in affection and love, and that could lead to fear or to fun. There could be two or more love interests going on at the same time. It can sometimes indicate a lack of commitment. And again, as I say, in personal readings I've been in, it can sometimes mean that someone has to be careful when the card appears in relation to love. There is also sometimes the danger that there could be somebody experiencing obsessive behavior. And then we come to the 7 of diamonds. Well, you had the ace of diamonds before. Now we have the 7. Look, the 7 generally is a lucky number, but it can very much refer to introspection, aloneness, soul-searching, worry, and this can be sometimes a card of financial challenges. Excuse me. It represents warnings about money matters and of envy and gossip. It's generally not a good card for financial dealings, so be very careful about investing in stocks or property or lending money at the time in March, and it's not the time to take up gambling. I'd also say with this card that avoid buying luxuries or going on shopping sprees. There's also the chance that there could be rumours or criticisms of you, whether justified or not, but probably as a result of jealousy from other people. But they're just some of the things I pick up. However, 3 red cards in a row like that, they're all good. So it's good energy that's coming your way. And that is the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go. March underway. Well, let me just say this, is that you were fantastic during that reading, and I really enjoyed providing it to you. I love providing these readings to you each month, and subscribe and become part of the family and belong. And let me just say this, and I want you to remember this always, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Until then, bye for now.